Alright, good morning, afternoon, and or evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, back at it again. I've been in kind of a motivational slump as of late, so I'd figured I'd do a shorter, fun, one-off video to try and break said slump so I can start working on bigger projects, one including a history of the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe are the worst franchise in NFL history, and two, one on the 2004 NBA championship and how underrated that final series is and how underrated that Pistons team is as a whole. However, this story does not start with those. Boy, Tyrod Taylor has to be the most Wally pipped quarterback in NFL history. Then I thought to myself, why not do a video on the phrase getting Wally pipped and who Wally Pipp was? So that's what you're watching right now. Roll the intro.
I don't really have a good intro right now, but on this channel I like to talk sports.
So the phrase getting Wally pipped, or getting pipped for short, usually refers to when a starter is replaced, usually due to either their own laziness or a better player on the bench. So, yeah, it's simple as that. Usually refers to that as well. That's why Tyrod Taylor is probably the most Wally pipped quarterback in NFL history. I'm not saying he's lazy, but there were always just better options and he got unlucky. The origin of the phrase dates back to Yankees first baseman Wally Pipp. Now there's a myth going around that Wally Pipp was a bad player somehow. I'm here to debunk that. Wally Pipp was on track for a Hall of Fame career until 1925, which was when he was replaced by a certain Lou Gehrig as the Yankees' first baseman. However, before that, Pipp had been the Yankees' first baseman for 10 years, 1915 to 1925. He had started all of those and rarely ever missed any games. He was also the anchor of the team that won back-to-back American League pennants in 1921 and 22, and started for the team that won the Yankees' first ever championship in 1923. In 1924, he was coming off a career year. He hit .295, had 9 home runs, 114 RBI, and an American League leading 19 triples. However, when 1925 rolled around, and more specifically June 2nd, 1925, the Yankees were not that good. They were 7th place in the 8-team American League at the time. They were 13 and a half games behind the first place Philadelphia Athletics. So as the legend goes, on that fateful day, June 2nd, 1925, Wally Pipp walked into work and had a splitting headache. He walked up to manager Miller Huggins and essentially said, "Hey, give me some aspirin, I'm good to go, but I have a really, really bad headache." Huggins decided otherwise. He simply said, no worries, we'll sit you out and give Lou Gehrig the start at first base. Gehrig had seen playing time ever since 1924, and in fact, the game previous, Gehrig had pitch hit for the shortstop, Pee Wee Waniger, which began his famous consecutive game streak, 2,130 consecutive games played, 15 straight years. So, Pipp got benched, and then the Yankees never looked back. That was about it. However, according to Pipp himself, he says that he got the headache from an incident in practice where he was hit in the head with a baseball, and it was so severe that he had to go to the hospital for 2 weeks. That is not entirely true. Pipp was hit in the head with a baseball and did miss 2 weeks being hospitalized. However, that would come a month later on July 2nd, 1925. However, for the rest of the year, Pipp was still around with the team, albeit in a lesser role. He pinch hit several times, but by the end of the year, he was shipped off to Cincinnati to spend the rest of his career. So that's that. The legend of Wally Pipp. His name forever tied to a starter being replaced forever, which I feel is a bit unfair. And I mean, I think it was just the fact that he was hurt that day that helped. He was not bad. He had rarely missed any time, and he was no slouch. He started at the Yankees' first base for 10 years. He just sort of got unlucky. That was about it. And in fact, to be honest, he would have probably been replaced either way. Wally Pipp was a fantastic first baseman. Lou Gehrig is one of the greatest first basemen of all time. At a certain point, you could only stick by your guys for so long and not be stunting the development of a younger player. So I feel like at a certain point, Pip would have just ended up being gone, and Lou Gehrig would have shined anyway. So the next time you use the phrase getting Wally pipped, just use it in the right context. He was no slouch of a player. He was not lazy. He was not bad. He was just unlucky. He was a great player. May he rest in peace. He just happened to be usurped by an all-time great player. And there's no shame in that, and there shouldn't be any shame in that. Wally Pipp himself admitted that at the end of the season, when he got traded, it would have been stupid for the Yankees to go back to him at that point. Because it was Lou frickin' Gehrig playing for them. So, to close, before I ask you to like and subscribe and all that, put some respect on his name. Wally Pipp was not bad. And that's about it. Like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.